This episode is for all of you amazing mamas who are just trying to keep your kids healthy. You read every ingredient label, you've swapped out the conventional cleaning products, and you make homemade snacks. You research every single thing that goes into your home and into your family's bodies. And I see you. I honor you. What you're doing matters. But I want to talk about something that might make us mamas feel a little bit uncomfortable. What are we modeling about health to our children? I'm Dr. Tricia Pingel, a naturopathic physician, and welcome to What Am I Modeling? I've been that mama. The one researching every product, panicking over every ingredient, feeling like the weight of my family's health is entirely on my shoulders. I even remember standing in Target when my kids were little in the summer, reading labels for 20 minutes, getting stressed out over which sunscreen was safe enough. I remember the anxiety I would feel when my young little kindergartners would go to birthday parties. What if they ate artificial colors? What if the cake has high fructose corn syrup in it? And here's the thing, I thought I was being a good mom, and I am a good mom. But I thought I was protecting them, and in many ways, I was by protecting them from external toxins. But here's what I wasn't realizing fully at the time, was that in my effort to create this perfect toxic-free environment, I was modeling something else entirely. I was modeling to them that the world is dangerous, that we should be afraid of everything, that health requires constant vigilance and anxiety, that feeling safe requires us controlling every single variable. Here's what I know as a doctor who specializes in stress and adrenal health. Chronic stress and elevated or dysregulated cortisol is just as damaging to our children's developing systems as the toxin that we're so trying to avoid. Think about it. You could feed your child the most organic, perfectly clean diet in the world, but if they're absorbing your stress every time you cook, if they're learning that food is something to worry about rather than enjoy, if they're watching your panic over every ingredient, what are they really learning about health? They're learning that being healthy means being anxious. They're learning that the world is full of threats. And they're learning that love looks like worry. Now, let me put on my doctor hat for a minute. When we're in chronic stress mode, even if it's good stress, like trying to protect our families and do the right thing, which you are doing, our bodies produce cortisol. And this chronic cortisol elevation and fluctuation has a direct impact on our immune function, our digestive health, our sleep quality, emotional regulation, and brain development in children. So you could have the most non-toxic home, but if your children are living in a chronic stress response because of how they're approaching health or you're approaching health, their little nervous systems are still under attack. I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty. I'm not. I'm actually saying this because I want the efforts that you're putting out there to actually have a long-term impact on your child's health. I'm saying this because once I realized what I was modeling, everything changed for me and for my kids and how they view health. So here's what I've learned. The most powerful way to teach our children about health isn't through our words or through our worry. It's through our energy and by our example. So when I stopped panicking about every ingredient in front of them and started calmly choosing better options, my kids started paying attention to how foods made them feel rather than what I told them was good or bad. When I stopped lecturing about toxins and just consistently used clean products, those became the norm for them. They didn't need a speech about why we don't use conventional laundry detergent. Clean just became what's familiar to them. So now when my kids go to parties and eat cake with artificial colors and a bunch of crap in it, often they come home and say, Mom, I don't feel great, or I didn't like the taste of that. Not because I told them to fear those ingredients, but because they learned to tune into their body and listen to their body, which is really what health is. That is so much more powerful than anything I could have told them. They're learning to trust their own internal wisdom rather than live in fear of external threats. And isn't this what we're doing as parents anyway? We're wanting to raise them to be adults that make good decisions, that give back in the world, that live their life with joy in a calm, focused state and healthy. So what does this look like practically? So maybe instead of explaining why something is toxic to your kids automatically, just don't buy it. Make the clean choice and the easy choice, the familiar choice. And then if they ask, that's the time to explain calmly, without fear, that these ingredients are better for our bodies, that our bodies feel better when we use these ingredients instead of these ingredients. Instead of stressing at the grocery store in front of your kids, prep at home. Know your brands. Make your list. Shop with confidence so they don't see you, battling over a label. Instead of panicking when they eat something imperfect at a friend's house, trust that you're building their foundation at home. Trust me, one cookie with artificial colors is not going to undo the years of good nutrition that you have established. Have conversations about health when they ask, and they will. One of my favorite things that I did when they were little is I let them cook with me. So even though they made a mess and they probably didn't do it right, I would let them stir the food and they would ask, what is this? And I would explain it. And then they would ask why we're eating it. And I would explain the nutrition in it. Not in a way of saying we don't eat this, we eat this, but saying we're eating this because blah, blah, blah. It's great for us. Not knocking the alternative, if that makes sense. So instead of talking about all the things we avoid, let's talk about the things we love. Look how colorful these berries are. Doesn't this smell amazing? How does this make your body feel? Show them that healthy choices come from a place of love and abundance, not from fear and restriction. Mama, you're doing great. You're doing an incredible job. The efforts that you're putting towards this matter, your research in health matters, your commitment to your families is absolutely beautiful. But the greatest gift you can give your children is not a perfectly controlled environment. It's modeling what it looks like to make healthy choices from a place of calm confidence rather than anxious control. They're watching how you navigate the world. They're absorbing your energy. They're learning what it means to take care of themselves by watching how you take care of yourself, which means you need to model healthy eating as well. You need to model boundaries. You need to model exercise. You need to model being calm and not letting things aggravate you. By you leading, they will follow. That is far more powerful than the words you use to teach them or the stress that you have over the little things you're trying to control. Let go of the control and focus on what you can show them. So this week, I want you to ask yourself, what am I modeling about health? Am I showing them that being healthy means being worried? Or am I showing them that being healthy means being wise, calm, and connected to our bodies? The world needs more humans who trust themselves, not more humans who fear everything. You have the power to raise those humans. So trust yourself, Mama. You've got this. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear in the comments, what's one way you're going to model calm confidence about health this week? Not necessarily to children, but to everyone around you. And if you want more content about turning pressure into power instead of anxiety, make sure you subscribe. If you want to learn more about how the adrenal glands are impacting all of the different areas we discussed, immune function, gut health, mood, attention, hormones, sugar levels, chronic disease, inflammation, you can check out Total Health Turnaround, which is available on Amazon. Remember, stop dismissing your stress signals as just part of motherhood. Trust your body's wisdom and model the kind of health that includes joy, not just perfection. Till next time, mamas.